Hare Krishna. So today I'm going to be reading from this book. It was a series of articles that were published in a newspaper called Hindustan Times, arguably the most prominent newspaper next to the Times of India. And this went on for several years. I didn't realize how many they printed. This one is called De-Stressing is Important for a United World. It was published on the 12th of November 2001. Because we're talking about something that was published over 20 years ago, we may not be current as far as what's going on in the world today, but I was trying to be, and I will try to be as current as possible. And here's the article. Being, quote, plugged in, end quote, doesn't make for globalization. It's a fact that those who own computers make up 6% of the Earth's population. And that's one of the figures that may be inaccurate now because of the time difference. And less than 4 out of 100 have internet access. Even among seasoned web surfers, it is a growing concern that computers and the internet are hurtling us headlong into the outer darkness of dystopia. Producers of the documentary Social Dilemma and AI Dilemma would heartily agree. That's today in 2023 in April when I'm speaking. For reasons like these, many forms of Eastern meditation are becoming popular in the West, where an insatiable appetite for things of this world has reached sinister proportions. Now the East and the West have something in common. The feeling that there's not enough time, there's too much frenzy, too much speed, too much competition. In a word, stress. What is stress? Well, for one, it's an internal emotion that keeps many awake nights on end. And how can we be peaceful when gold and silver monetary standards are gone? We live in a fairy dust world where major wealth is no more than an electronic impulse on a computer disk, and yet billions sail back and forth daily on internet networks. Can it be called magic? Maybe. It may even be a form of propti-siddhi. But is it bringing peace to the mind of the world? Stress seems to stem in part from the feeling that things that hold our world together are as tenuous as electrical energy and the, quote, balance of terror, end quote. Quote, "We have sold our souls," wrote historian Arnold Toynbee in 1972 of his British compatriots, quote, "to the pursuit of maximizing material wealth, a pursuit which is spiritually wrong and practically unattainable," end quote. However, there might be a solution. Gandhi once said, quote, "When doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not a ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to the Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me. Those who meditate on the Gita will derive fresh joy and new meaning from it every day," end quote. The few stress-related instructions from the 5th chapter of the Gita may be of some help. For example, quote, "One whose happiness is within, and who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic," end quote. And, quote, "A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries," end quote. Stress and a united world are incompatible. If we de-stress on spiritual instruction, the global village can become a reality. That's the end of the article. Hare Krishna.